Now, if I drill down on a particular bill form, we can see what one looks like. So we've got our bill form. I'm going to close this out. We've got the vendor. That's who we're going to owe the money to. We haven't yet paid the money because it is a bill form. The rest of it looks very similar to a check form or expense form, except for the fact that instead of the asset going down of cash, we have a liability going up of accounts payable. In other words, we have the terms of the bill, when we're going to pay it. We've got the bill date. We've got the due date. The due date's going to be the important date for us because that's going to be the date that we have to sort the bills by to make sure that we pay before that day so we're not delinquent. So note what happens is we're going to record the actual bill when we enter the bill into the system typically, which will record the expense at that point in time as well. But the due date will be very vital because that's what's going to tell us when the bill is due, and that'll help us to sort the data. Down below, we've got the categories. Notice there's two kind of category sections down here. We've got the category detail and then the item details. So normally for most bills, we're going to have category detail, which means we're just going to assign it to an account. If it was a telephone bill, we'll put it into the telephone expense. If it was gas and electric in this case, we put it into the basic gas and electric, assigned it to an account. That will then post it to the financial statements, increase in accounts payable, the other side go into the utilities. What is this one down here then? This is an item detail. Items is the QuickBooks terminology basically for inventory items, the things that we sell, whether they be service items like landscaping services or inventory items that we are selling. Notice that the bill means that we're not selling it here, we're purchasing it. So that would mean the item would be specific to inventory. Why do I have to have a separate account for the items? Why can't I just put it into a account category of inventory? Because the items have an added detail that we want to have tracking the subledger, and we'll talk more about that when we get to inventory, meaning we want to track the units of inventory in the system. And if we're using a perpetual inventory system, tracking the inventory within QuickBooks, we would need to use the items and set them up, and we'll see a lot more how to set them up in future presentations. And then we've got the memo down here. We can add attachments. This could be useful in the event that basically you want to put the actual invoice or attach it in here, because that might be something that would be useful, say, to the accountant. So notice the fact that we're going to be paying things out of the checking account and we're entering it into QuickBooks and so on gives us somewhat of an audit trail. So we kind of have an audit trail, but sometimes it's useful to have the attachment anyways in the event of an audit, like from the IRS or something like that. And sometimes we might want the added detail to give to the tax preparer, such as for if we buy property, plant, and equipment. If I buy property, plant, and equipment, I want to possibly attach the item here to tell my tax preparer all of the information related to that purchase of property, plant, and equipment so they can put it on the subledger for depreciation. And then we've got the cancel down below. We can print it if we need to. Typically, these bill forms we don't need to print because these are not the invoices. We're not invoicing the client. It's a data input form, a bill form for our internal purposes to record the transactions. We can make it reoccurring. We have another course or section on reoccurring transactions, I believe, meaning you can automate transactions and make them reoccurring. And then you have the more category. You could copy it if it's a complex one, delete it, copy to vendor, the transaction journal, and the audit history information. We can save it, and then we can save and new or save and close over here. So let's go back up. I'm going to close this back out.